Let's say you want to make hair for your monkey or for, let's say, in our case, the cube. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the particles. This is the particle. It's a constellation icon. Click on the plus button. You're going to click hair. If you don't see the hair, in our case, it did this time, you're going to check advance, deselect advance, and then the hair should pop up. And when you're first here, it's more of like the general type feel of what you want for the hair to be. So we have the number of hair strands, we have the hair length. I think that one's pretty good. We have the segments. When we actually want to simulate our hair, we can check out hair dynamics. Down here is children. So if I click simple, we can see now we have a bunch of hair. But what it's actually doing is from the individual hair strands, it's essentially just duplicating it and it's copying the movements and stuff. So, for example, if you do simple, right, for actual simulation wise, it's actually a lot easier because what you're actually simulating is this number of hairs. But what you actually see is this number of hairs. So it's kind of like a hack for hair, essentially. So I'm just going to set it to none just for the time being. There's a bunch of cool stuff you can do in here, but let's real quick go into the material. Go to material. So this is the cube. Let's create a new one. The plus button, new. And this one we're going to just have as the hair. Change it to a different color, a little browner. Now we're going to go back to our particles. And what we want to do is go and expand render. We have the material here, and we're going to select the other material. So by selecting the other material, if we go into, let's say, render view, we can see that the hair strands are now brown, but the actual object is still white. So if I switch it, I can just have it the same, or I can have it separate. So that's pretty useful. So let's go back to solid view. Now let's say you're happy with the overall hair strands, but you need to clean it up. For example, let's say the hair is not supposed to be on the bottom of the cube, which makes sense, especially if you're doing a face. Well, to do that, there's two different ways you can do it. One is you can just change the number to 0, and then you can go to the hair edit and then actually add the location you want the hair to be. Or you can just have this general number on, that's fine. Then go into, the particle edit, I call the hair edit, and you essentially become a virtual barber. So if we do F, we can expand the circle. And here we go. So we're just going to add, there we go. Just kind of go like that. And then as the barber, I can kind of just play around with this. And we're in virtual space. We're the barber for our cube. So on default, we have the comb. That's what's happening here. We also have smooth. So if we want to smooth some stuff out, I don't really use that one that much. I do use add, so we can add more hair if we want. We also have lengthen, so we can actually lengthen the hair. So if you want longer hair. We have a puff. A puff I actually use quite a bit because it makes it more natural. It kind of curves it out a bit. Right, makes it nice and poofy. And then we have cut. So we can just cut this like I was talking about. So we can actually cut the hair so that way it doesn't actually show up on the cube. Now, personally, what I find is if you're doing hairstyling, it's easier to just have no hair and then add hair because, yeah, it's easier in my opinion just do that way because as you can see, as I'm going through, I'm accidentally deleting the other hair. Now we have the hair weights here. This is how much it's going to bend and stuff. So we have the strength of it. We won't really get into this. This is a bit more advanced, but let's say you want very stiff hair or very, soft hair. This is how you would do it. You would change the how sturdy it is, right? How stiff it is. So if I change the strength to, let's say 1, right? We can see it's red. So red is more stiff. Blue is like it's not stiff at all. It's like very flexible. So let's go out of that. Let's go object mode. And we can see here now the emission, it's deselected. That's because we modified the hair. Once you modify the hair, then you can no longer edit the hair over here. Of course, there's some things you can edit here, but in general, Once you stylize it, you can't change it. Now, down here we have hair dynamics. I'm going to check it. Now, if I hit play, we can see the hairs actually being simulated. So if I click on this, do G, move it around, we can see that the hair actually moves around.